Back in the day, before the internet, live albums were the only way you could actually hear your favorite band playing live. Unless, of course, you were lucky enough that your favorite band would actually come to your city to play a concert and you would actually be able to attend to it. So yeah, growing up, live albums had a huge impact on me. It was definitely a different beast from studio albums. The interaction of the crowd, the improvisation, the introductions to the songs, the medleys, it was all awesome. Anyway, so a couple of days ago, I actually bought one of my favorite live albums ever on vinyl, and I was so happy I got that. I actually posted it on Instagram. And that actually struck up a couple of very interesting conversations. And that triggered this idea. So here we have the 10 best live albums ever to be released according to Pat. So let's get to it. So hello everybody and welcome to a new video and welcome to my channel where we talk about everything music from death metal to Queen and everything in between. Anyway, here we go, top 10 live albums ever. There's a couple of albums I'm actually really hurt to have left off of this list. And it might actually change from time to time. I mean, I'm sure one of those albums is going to be higher up on the list and probably make the top 10 like within a week or a month. I mean, it varies. But the top ones, however, those are the ones that really made an impact on me. And that's why I hold them up there so dearly. Okay, so here we go. These are the best live albums ever in no particular order. Number 10 on this list, Mexico City 1993 by Metallica, off of the Live Shit box set. Now, of course, honestly, my favorite Metallica live performance would have to be Seattle 89, which is also included on this box set, but it's only included as a VHS when I had it or a DVD. But this one's officially released as a CD. So yeah, 1993, Mexico City. I mean, it sounds great, it's crushing. We have a really cool long version of Seek and Destroy where, you know, the crowd sings, which is really cool. Also, that Justice medley is awesome. One of my favorite things. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty long concert and it's got a lot of the Black Album, which I'm not really a fan of. I mean, I do like the Black Album, I just don't like the songs that they included here. Like, they should have included Holier Than Thou, for instance. But yeah, that being said, it's actually kind of cool to actually be able to hear, you know, Through the Never or Whenever I May Roam or Of Wolf and Men live. So that's pretty awesome. Number 9, and of course you're expecting this band to show up. Here we have Megadeth with That One Night in Buenos Aires, which was actually recorded in 2005 but released in 2007. I mean, the crowd here is amazing. I mean, it's well renowned that the Argentina crowd on concerts is just the best. So that's really awesome. Special shout out to my buddy Bill who actually got me this bad boy because I didn't have it on my collection and it's really hard to get. So Bill, you rule. Thank you very much. Now, sticking to the classic awesome metal band's theme, we have Judas Priest on number 8. Now, this one's actually going to ruffle a few feathers probably, because this album does not feature Rob Halford, which of course is one of the best singers ever. But sadly, the Priest live albums that actually feature Rob Halford do not have such a solid track list as the one I'm actually going to choose, which is Live at London, featuring Tim Ripper Owens, which by the way is an awesome singer, and boy did he have big shoes to fill. And man, this album slays, is heavy, is fast, is crushing, and every member is on top form here. And it actually features some of my favorite Judas Priest songs. You've got The Sentinel, Victim of Changes, The Ripper, an awesome version of Diamonds and Rust. I could go on forever. It's an awesome album. Live in Japan is a close second to this, and Priest Live is also really good, but those are more decade focused. Like Live in Japan is obviously the 70s era, and then Priest Live is only the 80s. But yeah, this live album actually has some of the 70s, some of the 80s, and the 90s, so that was awesome. I really enjoy that album. Lucky number 7, another classic band that had a huge impact on me while growing up, especially when I started playing guitar. I mean, the energy of this band is just relentless, and on this album, the energy of the crowd is off the charts as well. Again, another Argentina concert. This one is AC/DC's Live at River Plate. Go ahead and look it up. Just look at the videos, you'll see what I mean. I remember buying the DVD or Blu-ray for Sam Ash and putting it on the screens, and people would just go nuts for it. It's ridiculous. I mean, it sounds great, the crowd is wild, the band is just feeding off that energy. That synergy is just amazing, and you get a hell of a performance. So yeah, definitely one of the best concerts ever to be recorded and released. Now, number 6 might actually come out to be somewhat of a shocker for you guys, if you guys don't really know me that well, but number 6 belongs to Bursting Out from 1978 by one Jethro Tull. An amazing live album. I mean, an amazing performance. Ian Anderson at his best, just showing all of his musical prowess. I mean, he plays the flute, he sings, obviously he plays the acoustic guitar, he's just moving around. I mean, if you actually get a chance to watch some of the videos off of this thing, you can see the guy just going back and forth, just being an awesome entertainer, but missing no notes at all. Just a really awesome performance. By the way, if you're enjoying this list so far, just make sure you drop me a comment in the comment section down below. Drop me a like for God's sake, and subscribe to this channel like a man. And if you can, just hit that notification bell. And of course, if you want to contribute to the channel and help us out big time, please make sure you visit my Patreon. A little goes a long way and we surely do appreciate it. And let me know how you feel about this list. And if you think I'm wrong, and if you think I'm missing an album that should definitely be on anybody's top 10 list, make your own damn list. And write it down in the comment section down below. I would love to read it. I know there's a lot of really awesome live albums out there. In fact, I might actually do a part 2 of this list because I mean, there's so many awesome albums out there that it actually pains me to have left them off of this list. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below if you'd like to see a part 2 of this video. Number 5 was a really tough one for me to choose because I didn't really want to repeat bands, and even though this is a solo band, they still go hand in hand. And it's really hard to actually choose a solo live album over, a full band album. But this one just sounds so good. The quality is just ridiculous. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful concert. And this spot goes out to David Gilmour's Live in Gdansk, recorded in 2006 but released in 2008. An amazing performance. It just sounds great. It's pristine. This concert was actually supporting his solo album On an Island, which is an amazing, beautiful album. And he actually features Crosby and Nash on backing vocals. They just add such a velvety texture and depth to the harmonies. It's just awesome. I love this album. I love it so much, and I think it's so great that I actually put it over Pulse, which is an amazing album too. And of course, over Live at Pompeii, which actually made more of an impact on me personally. In fact, Pink Floyd's Live at Pompeii was the album that actually got me into Pink Floyd single-handedly, especially the song Echoes, and the video for it was amazing. Okay, so coming into the heavier, faster, more extreme side of things, we have number 4, Imperial Live Ceremony by Emperor from the year 2000. Amazing album. Fast, heavy, relentless, top-notch black metal. I mean, it's just so accurate and epic, and it sounds so much better than any of their studio recordings. It's ridiculous. I mean, I wish I got to see them live, and I'm hoping someday I will. But man, what a performance. This to me is one of the best sounding black metal albums of all time. That's not saying much, I know, but that seems to be the norm. I mean, if you listen to Dissection's live album, it sounds way better than the studio album, which sounded good, but I mean, you could actually hear a lot more of the arrangements on the live performance. And that's also true on this album. You can really hear a lot of the arrangements of the dual guitars and of course the keyboards in the back, and Trim is just on fire. Great album. Great album. Okay, so finally we make it to the top 3, and I gotta tell you, these 3 bands were going to be at the top no matter what. I mean, I might have debated on the album or concert, but the live performances of these bands actually had the biggest impact on me. So yeah, these choices were actually easy. So coming in on number 3, we actually have a death metal band. It was released in the year 2000, and the album is called Live Cannibalism by Cannibal Corpse. I mean, again, this album is heavy, it's fast, but it's so accurately played. I mean, it's awesome. And if you've never listened to Cannibal Corpse, this is basically like a greatest hits album. I mean, it's got most of the best songs. We get songs from The Bleeding, we get songs from Vile, we get songs from Tomb of the Mutilated. It's an awesome album, and seeing these 5 guys tearing it up on stage, just headbanging their asses off and just playing all this technical, brutal stuff, it just made me want to play death metal and get on stage one day and play some heavy music. And luckily, I did, and I owe it all to these guys. That's why on every concert we played, we actually covered a Cannibal Corpse song. So yeah, love this album. Okay, number 2, and this was actually a tough choice between this album and a different live album, but this one just had a lot more of an impact on me. I love the fact that this one's just heavier, and it's got a lot of the more modern 90s songs in it. So, ranking in at number 2, and this top 3 is actually ranked, we have Everything Louder Than Everyone Else by Motorhead. Motorhead is one of those bands that just gets me going, especially this album. This album is great. I've actually heard this album so much, I know it front to back to front. I know every line, every pause of this album, and it never ceases to be awesome. I love this thing. I mean, every song here rules. All the way from Iron Fist, Stay Clean to Civil War, Nothing Up My Sleeve, Bomber, Killed by Death, even the slow songs. Lost in the Ozone is a great song. I mean, dude, Lemmy at his best. Come on, doesn't get any better than that. Or does it? I think you guys know where I'm going with this. And here's the fact. This is, to me and to most people, the best frontman ever. But other than that, the band itself gets overlooked a lot, and they were amazing live, and they were amazing in the studio, but live, dude, it was a bulldozer. They sounded so much heavier and faster, and to me it was just raw and awesome, and it's just 4 guys making a hell of a lot of noise. Yeah, I know, a lot of people are gonna say, well, you had Spike Edney. Spike wasn't even here back then. And for those of you who don't know, Spike Edney was the 5th member of Queen. He would actually play backup keyboards or guitars whenever, they really needed an extra set of hands. He would just help with some of the arrangements and it would fatten up the sound. And of course, it would free up Freddie to just move around and prance around the stage. But he wasn't really shown that much. Anyway, for this band, I could name you a lot of awesome concerts. I mean, Live at Montreal 82, of course Live at Wembley 86, Live 8 85. You know where I'm going with this. Live at the Rainbow, Live at the Bowl. I mean, they had so many amazing performances that they actually have a lot of live albums out. Anyway, since I haven't mentioned this album, I think at this point, you know, I am referring to, of course, a Queen album. And that is 1979's Queen, Live Killers. Amazing, amazing album. One of my favorite albums of all time. Hands down. This album made me want to be in a band, and this album made me want to play live. I actually did own Live at Wembley before I had this guy, and Live Magic, which is also, just like this, a compilation live album. But they just felt a little bit more poppy oriented and a little bit more polished. This is just raw and heavy and just saturated. And it's got a lot of that 70s sound, which I love. And they also played a lot of killer songs like the We Will Rock You Fast version, Death on Two Legs, Let Me Entertain You, Killer Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, Spread Your Wings, Brighton Rock with that amazing guitar solo. I mean, this is awesome. This is just tops. #1 live album of all time for me. Anyway, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop me a like if you did. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel like a man if you haven't yet. And if you enjoy the content, please go visit my Patreon. A little goes a long way, and we surely do appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. Pat out, middle on, dudes.